know you are that girl. I know you see me. Can you see me? KP, I know you see me calling you, girl. Ooh, KG, that was cute. Yes, ma'am, KG. I know this service is working. I have Verizon Wireless. Our service don't break down. No. Yes, Jenear. Work me, Jenear. You have an incoming call, girl. Answer the phone. Now.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good.
How are you? I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good.
Okay, so I'm just go ahead and let you know. So I forgot. I was in Georgia, but I live in Florida, and on this part, it's Central Standard Time. So when you said 5, I'm like, okay, 5 my time. But then I looked, and I was like, oh, it's actually 3 here, and it's 4 there. So I was like, she messaged me a little early. So I was like, oh, I hope I make it. But I was able to get here.
Um,
All right, so I want to go ahead and just say I take pride in talking about, the legendary J-Sets such as yourself. We got Saki, Jasmine, Shankita. So to actually be having this interview with you is a pleasure, and I do appreciate you for actually coming on today.
oh, awesome. Thank you. And thank you for including me in that legendary category.
No problem. I mean, it speaks for itself. Everybody should know the name Jenear. So, especially when it comes to J-Set, you or the name Jenear is pretty much a big name when it comes to J-Set. So, for the people who don't know who Jenear is, go ahead and give yourself or give them a quick introduction of yourself.
Well, my name is Jenear, originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I went to Reed Ann High School, and I was the captain there in the year 2001, 2002. I graduated 2002, and I auditioned for Jackson. So I danced from 2002 to 2006. Prior to that, a lot of people may not know, I was in the movie Drumline, the actual first movie, the one that came to the movie theaters, not not BET or VH1. And I was the only high school dancer for the movie band. They had over 300 women to audition for that role, and they picked 9 because Zoe Saldana was the 10th girl. So I was one of the 9 that was chosen. So that was a big accomplishment to have in my senior year in high school. So
Awesome.
just a little bit about me.
Yeah, I refer to you as Miss Drumline. When I'm talking to friends, I say Miss Drumline. They know exactly what I'm talking about. So you mentioned, I'm going to get to the reading because I knew you came from DeKalb County. So at what age did you start dancing?
Well, dancing around the house, listening to music, cleaning up, little girl. But actually being able to dance, I was in the 2nd grade, and I attended Kirkwood Elementary at the time, and you had to be at least in the 4th grade, be on the auxiliary. But I begged the dance teacher. I was like, please, please, please let me dance. I really want to dance. And so I was the youngest dancer in the 2nd grade, dancing with like 4th and 5th graders and 6th graders. And that next year, I was able to lead off like stretches and stuff. So she saw the heart that I had in it, and I wish I could really meet my first dance teacher. Her name was Sarita Felder at the time, and she was a dance teacher at Kirkwood Elementary. So if she sees this, or if anybody knows Sarita Felder, who taught dance class at Kirkwood Elementary in the early 90s, late 80s, please let her know that I am still dancing, and I want to at least take a picture with her, because she really influenced me, and just gave me that drive, regardless of how small you are or what your age is. If you have the heart for it, go for it. So yeah,
definitely. So it's interesting that you say you had to be in like the 4th grade. I went to Clayton County public schools, and I think sixth grade, we couldn't do any sports. If you were in sixth grade, you couldn't do any type of sport. And I know some of my friends who did dance in middle school, they made the team in sixth grade, but they had to stop because they said you had to be in the seventh grade. And for what reason, I don't know. But it's interesting that you say that, because if that was going on at that time, and I think that was what, 2008, 2009, I was in sixth grade, and that was still going on. So it must be an Atlanta thing, like that area thing.
Oh, yeah. It kind of sucks because you're holding back talent. You know,
right.
You're telling someone you got to wait a little longer to present yourself, to present your talent, and that's not fair. Talent has no age.
Right.
Talent has no time frame. So if you see it, just allow it to be what it is. Don't cut it off because of the age. And actually, I wasn't old enough to do Drumline either. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
If you want. So yeah, I wasn't gonna let age stop me. So yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that you did go to Redan. So in high school, at the time of your senior year, did you know that you wanted to dance on a collegiate level?
Yes. So let me tell you, because prior to me dancing, I played the snare drum for Redan. I was a part of Sudden Impact. I played the drum, and I was good for a girl. But the captain at the time, her name was Maya. And Maya went down to Jackson to audition for Jackson State. And during that time, you couldn't bring video cameras in not the AAC. This was the other gym, TBLs. You couldn't bring nothing into the gym. And so somebody snuck one in there for her. And it recorded her audition process. And her audition dance was Swoop. And she brought that back to us. And I said, "Ooh, that looked hard." I was like, "Oh, those people there, they booing, they cheering." I was like, "How did you do it?" She was like, she was nervous and all, but she got through it. She actually made the team. But then, I kind of forgot about that, and I went on with my senior year. But I did know that I wanted to dance collegiately. But another team I was looking at was Bubbling Brown Sugar. Brown, because they were the it thing here in Atlanta. So, but I always felt that I was real small to be Bubbling Brown. All of them got, bubbles. So I was like, I'm going to be this little skinny little stick standing next to this girl, butt's about as wide as my back. And, so but see, the thing is, I knew a lot about bubbling. We did some of their stand routines in high school. So it would have been an easy transition. But when Maya came back and she showed that videotape, I was like, now that looks hard. I like a challenge.
Right.
Redan did the pregame for, I think it was North Carolina A&T and Jackson State when they would have their classic at the Dome. And after we finished the pregame, we were allowed to go back up in the stands and watch the football game and the performance. And they did Swoop on the field. And they had on Tiger Girl. And I said, I have to audition for that team. That looks hard. When they did that elbow cartwheel, I was like, okay, I can do it. I think I can do it. So I was geeked from then. And so that spring, that April, Dr. Berry, that was his name at the time, James Berry, went to Jackson State. And I told him that I was interested in going to Jackson State. And he let me know about, what the audition process was like and what I needed and everything. And Chris Mathis, they called him Goose. He played, I think, the trombone in the band. And he was actually the sponsor at Towers High School at the time. And Towers High School danced like Jackson State. And my cousin Brittany Williams it was Parks then, it's Williams now. She was the captain over that team, and she was going to go to Jackson as well. But got in touch with Chris Mathis, and he explained the ropes to me, and he actually took me down to Jackson and kind of showed me around and stuff around that time and helped me out with a little things. And so, yeah, I auditioned, and that I must say, was the most terrifying experience. It really was. All the way from, just coming from Atlanta, going to Mississippi, hearing all the kind of stories about Mississippi.
Right.
Getting there, and this room full of women. Everybody was in there. It's pretty. Of course, it was interviewing, so everybody had dresses and suits and stuff. And after the interview, you line up for height. Of course, I'm in the front. Short. And I knew that auditions was open, but that people being that, I mean, the bleachers were filled. People were sitting on the floor, sitting on the wall. I knew there were fire code was ignored fire code. And when the girls would go out individually, they would either hoop or holler or boo or hold a sign up. And I was like, please, just don't let them do this to me. That's embarrassing. And so when I went out, it was quiet. But some of the people already knew that I was from Atlanta. And they say usually the girls from Atlanta come down here and they tap things up, they wear it out. So, I was like, okay, I'm just going to let this process go. So I didn't hear any hooping and hollering. It was just quiet. So when it came time for me to do my individual dance, that's when I got like a big, like, yep, in there. So I won some hearts then. I was happy because I didn't want to be that poster held up, the butterface poster. I didn't want to be that. So, went there Saturday. The way that this dance was taught, it wasn't like can you repeat that, or can you go back over that? You already move on? Okay, next day count. It was like that was really cutthroat, and I'm like, am I really getting this? Is this soaking in? Am I drinking it in? It was so much. It was like 17, 18, 8 counts.
And it was Aquita who did the dance for yours, right? Oh,
yes.
I know.
Yes. Oh, yes. You can only imagine, like, you're looking at her. Her body is like...
I would say track body.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay. So... she taught that dance real fast or whatever, and during this time, we didn't have no CD player or nothing like that to record the dance, so we had a cassette tape. A cassette tape so you could record the music. Oh, that's so funny. Cassette tapes. Wow, some of these kids don't even know what cassette tapes are. But yeah, and then we would go up there like after 6 or whatever and practice again. But Sunday was just like, it was so stressful. Butterflies, loose guts. I mean, some of everything. And I did it the first time, didn't make the first round. And I made the second round. Of course, well, let me go back because I'm sure this is funny to people. When I didn't make the first round, I thought it was over with. I thought that was like, coming all the way to Jackson, I would drive for nothing. So I was crying. I went to behind the bleachers and I cried because I was like, it's over with. I was like, what did I really, really mess that up bad? And but no, it was 3 rounds, and so I made it the second round, but not really understanding that I made it the second round because it was the third. And so after the third round, they called everybody out, and they was like, "Your Prancing J sets from da da da." I was like, "Oh, I made it." Like, okay, I feel a little better. At least I can come home with a prize.
Right.
I ain't driving 6 hours empty-handed. So
right.
It was a process. Whew.
All right. Okay. So. Before, J-Sit, so you filmed Drumline before that, right? All right, so with you being the youngest dancer that was out there, and I'm actually going to show you the deleted scene. You've probably seen it already, but it's a short clip where I can see your face. I'm like, Jenear? Okay. But before, with you being the youngest person out there, and then you see, Zoe Saldana, Nick Cannon, you see all of these big names on set. How was that?
In all honesty, I didn't know how big it was. I knew it was a movie. I knew it was, dancing. And I did see 20th Century Fox at the bottom of the flyer. But, I'm like, hey, it's a dance movie. Let's just go here and dance. One day, not knowing, I didn't watch Nickelodeon, so I didn't know who Nick Cannon was. So he had some sticks in his hand, and I played drums. And he was going to the band hall at Southwest Cab. You know, they were practicing or whatever. And so I was like, I snatched them from him. I said, give me them sticks. You don't know what you're doing. And so I just started, you know, tapping on and doing rudiments and stuff. And later on, I was like, oh, that's the person of the movie. You know, but, you know, everybody was cool. You know, when nobody acting all, you know, I'm Hollywood. It wasn't none of that. It was, everybody was cool, laid back. It was a fun set. It was my first time, you know, being in, you know, just that surrounding of like good food, good atmosphere. On the set, anything you ask for. I mean, and being a principal dancer, everything had my name on it, all the way down to my bottle of water. Had my name written on the top. My eyelashes had my ponytail, my everything, the rhinestone fitness, everything had my name on it, and that was amazing. An amazing experience. We were allowed to take pictures and stuff. You know, everybody had their camera or video camera, you know, capturing the moments, because there were some students who were in Southwest Cab's high school band that were part of the movie band too. So I wasn't the only high school person in it, but the high school dancer I was. All the other college. So I was meeting other people in the band, knowing that Reed Ann and Southwest were rivals. You know, we could talk smack to each other, but you know, we were all cool, and it was just a great atmosphere, and it's something that I'll never forget. Yeah.
I find it interesting that you said you wanted to go to Morris Brown and be a bubbling brown sugar, and Shamia, who was actually on the team at the time, she was dancing with you. At that time, did you know Shamia, or did you try to get any information about like how to become a part of that team?
Well, to be honest, I want to say that the filming was after I saw the J sets on the field for that classic, because we started filming kind of towards the end of football season. So I guess it wouldn't interfere with the marching band, because the band had, so it kind of my mind was already kind of made up. So no, I didn't ask any questions about that, but I did, you know, ask you know, about everybody's college experience, you know, some Greek, and we just sat around and talked about, you know, just certain things. But no, my mind was already made up, so I knew what I was gonna do.
Okay, all right, so that's nice. So I want to show you the deleted scene where I can easily spot you. Let me turn it this way. See if you can.
Oh, right there on the end.
Right.
Oh, because we have those abs back.
Y'all look so good though.
I remember those things. Yep. And how I came up with those, each girl had to kind of make up two stand routines. And so we taught each other our stand routines to have stand routines. Yeah, that's how we came up.
I was going to ask, like, were you able, because I know, and we're going to get into it later, you have a lot of stands that you've made with the J6, even after being an active member of the J6. So I was going to ask, did you make up anything for the movie? But that first one she threw was yours?
No, no. That one came from either Shamia or Glenda, because they were sisters. So yeah, but majority of the choreo came from and Kiki Eli.
The
Those were
doll.
the choreographers for the dance team.
Gotcha. Okay. So that had to be like a really great experience to have, especially on a resume, before you
Yeah.
even go to audition for the J6.
Yeah. It's an experience I'll never forget.
So to you, what is JSET? Like, can you define what JSET is?
Mm. J-Set is an eclectic style of dancing that you just can't pick up from looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
It embodies the whole woman, like from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
We leave nothing unturned. It's speechless. It's speechless dancing to me. I say that. It's not something that you know what's coming next. It always throws you a whole bone and turn you a different direction. And it makes you feel spectacular. It's to be able to perform it, or the movements that we do. They hurt sometimes, but the look of it is so beautiful, because this is something that you're trained to do, and no one can just pick it up just by looking at it. They can imitate it all day, but to be able to do it correctly, you really have to be taught. So it's something that it has to be learned and taught. It can't be just picked up, and I love it for that.
It's definitely one of the hardest things to do, especially because it's so many. And when I say detail, I'm talking about footwork, hand changes. You have to be leaned a certain way. Head has to look a certain. I'm like, okay, so it's so much that goes into not just J6 stands, but feels as well. There's so much that goes into it.
Yes. It plays. It's a mind game. It plays tricks on you. It kind of reminds me of a Rubik's cube. Everybody can't do it. Everybody
can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, a Rubik's cube. I never thought about it that way, but boom, there y'all got it. So, going back to tryouts and learning the tryout routine from Aquita, how hard was it to learn that routine?
Yeah, it was hard. In all honesty, because my style of dance from high school was definitely not J-Set. So I'm stepping into a new pool, and the water is extremely cold. It's either I'm gonna sink or swim. Right. So, but I had to get over how hard it was, and I had to get over that it was different. Because if I was stuck there, I would have never made it. My mind would have been just concentrating on defeat, and I wouldn't have had the right mind to do it. And not only that, the crowd would have ate me alive if I didn't focus on what I needed to focus on. So I knew it was hard, but I couldn't say to myself that it was hard. So you gotta psych your mind a little bit, to get through it. So yeah, I guess I psyched my mind. But yes, Quita's mind, when she created that routine. And I hate the fact that we only did it one time. We only did it for Capital City Classic 2002, and that routine to me was fish grease hot. and I just wish we would have really tapped into it again, because that was the only time we did it. And I was thinking, okay, maybe next year we'll hang on to it, we'll do it again. We never touched it again, and that kind of hurt, because sometimes during the season you do a dance a couple of times.
Right.
We only did no parking once. And I don't know, maybe it was hard, and maybe somebody couldn't remember it. I don't know. But yeah, usually a crowd remember her routine. I still remember this routine to this day.
That's what Saki said. She remembers hers to this day.
The amount of stress that you're under to learn that, it's like studying for a huge test.
Right.
So and you get the syllabus the day before the test. So it's going to stay on your mind. And like today, we didn't have the kind of cell phones or recording devices back in 2002. So today's girls have all of that stuff at their hands, you know, so they can record, they can, you know, capture certain moments. And to this day, I don't allow any of my dancers to record me when I dance, because I always say you'll never rehearse that routine at home, because you always have the answers to the test. With us, we didn't have those answers, so we had to continuously study. We had to continuously move. We had to continuously think about it for it to stay on our brains. And like I said, these kids these days, they have an option to go back and look at it on their phone. We didn't have that option. So the level of integrity and dedication to me was a lot stronger back in the day, because you had no choice.
Right.
Hey, you have all choices and all options on the table.
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, this is just my opinion. I can definitely tell it was hard. I can't, you know, say it's not hard now, but looking back, it looks like it was much harder to, I guess, be as Jay said, because of how much y'all had to do in these field routines, how unison y'all looked, even in the stand. So I can definitely see where you're coming from when you say it like that. It's definitely something that, with y'all not having the video cameras and stuff, it's definitely something where it made it much, much harder for y'all to, remember what was taught to y'all, when go back and kind of see what mistakes you probably did make. But I'm sure y'all had Miss Worthy correcting left and right.
And Miss Worthy was cut for too, baby.
Oh, we're going to get to Miss Worthy. So you became a J-Set under Nikila Gates, whose name still ring bells to this day. How was it coming in under Nikila?
It was work. There was no let up. I'm not sure what happened the year prior to, but I felt that there was a point to be proven. So we were definitely going to have to get it right. We had no choice. So as far as running, if you messed up, you got a lap. If you didn't do certain placements and things, you got dinged for it. And it was strict. It was, you know, it's nothing now. You know what I'm saying? But back then, it was like, dang, I forgot to do a pretty finger. Oh no, it was that cutthroat. And like I said, I think it was a point to be proven. It could have been someone said that she's not worthy of being a captain, or you know, I don't, like I said, I don't know. But I felt as a freshman there was a point to be proven.
Yeah.
So, and we had to get it right. But even with me and my sisters, we ourselves had the determination to get it right too, so that we wouldn't go through so much. Right. Even though we went through a lot, we were still gonna go through a lot. But we had that determination amongst ourselves to be able to get it right. Because I didn't want to be in no mercy dance. Nobody wanted to be in a mercy dance, but and we all wanted to hit the field. Right. But we all had that same page to get it right.
And that kind of segues into my next question. You came in at the time, it was like the burning boot era at that time, and they had a legacy to uphold. How stressful was that on you to know that, okay, this team is known for this, they had a legacy to uphold? How was that hard on you, and what did you do to kind of, I won't say blend in, but match what the ups already had?
In all honesty, I didn't know anything about the legacy, and I think that helped me because I went in doing what I had to do regardless. I wasn't from Jackson, so I didn't know of any of the previous dancers or what they did, or if we saw a YouTube video, the megapixels on them videos were so ashy. So you couldn't tell who was dancing. So, you know, it wasn't nothing that you can like go and look at and study, you know. So I enjoyed being that blank slate, not knowing, so that I can come in and learn what the legacy was instead of already knowing it. Because sometimes when you think you know it, you think you're gonna be okay with it, and you slack. But when you don't know, you have no choice but to make sure you stay on yours. And of course, you always got somebody telling you, boo, that ain't right, or you something wrong with your feet or something like that. So you're never right. So you're always striving to do better, to get better, or to get it right. So and to this day, you're never right. So I think I enjoyed the fact of not knowing what the legacy was until later on. And just being there in the moment to learn what the legacy was and not know, you know? So it was stressful learning something new to later on in life understand and appreciate.
Okay. I've never thought of it that way, or I always, because of how good you were, I always assumed, you know, she probably already knew about them. She always knew what she was getting herself into. But now that you say it sheds light on how well you danced, and like, I guess because we don't. I mean, of course, we as fans don't know what behind the scenes like that. But seeing what it took to get you to the point of, having your name deemed as legendary. So I think that's nice. All right. So how would you describe Nakila's leadership?
She was a good leader. She was by the book, and she stuck to, like, I said what I said. It was like that. And there was no, like, if we didn't run our 2 miles in the beginning of practice, we was gonna run the miles at the end. And sometimes we was thinking, ooh, it's getting late, so we ain't gonna go out there. And we like, all right, y'all, let's go on to the track. So we like, but it's 12 o'clock. Like, we're not gonna go home yet. So we would be out there. We would get that. She did not slack up on crunches, working out, the track, not to say punishment. You gotta watch your words today. But as far as, like, when you mess up, the consequences. She didn't slack on that at all. So, and I understand that, and I understand why, because if you did slack up on that, people would probably of the slack up. So you gotta be stern, and you gotta hold your ground when it comes to you said what you said,
right? Because
you can fall by the wayside, and somebody can overstep. If you allow that. So she was a great leader. Her and Miss Worthy, the captains are always Miss Worthy, left, right hand. So what Miss Worthy wanted to see, she was able to regurgitate it to us. And yeah, she had good leadership skills.
Yeah, when you go back to the workouts, I'm just thinking, like, because everybody's bodies was like picky pat. The stallions is what y'all are called. And
but see, I was never a stallion.
Well, you were especially. I know that your crab year, you was skinny and you was.
I was skinny.
But when it came to, I do not know the name of that uniform. I know the bottoms are from Blue Mystique, but the top is like, it's a blue crop top. It's one
blue
sleeve.
Sapphire?
Not that. Wait.
It's got the sequin right here, and the arms are cut, and it goes around the neck and right here.
And it's one arm. Is that one Blue Sapphire, or I thought Blue Sapphire was a leotard with the little squigglies on there?
Well, I think Blue Sapphire had 2 pieces to it. It had the blue bottoms. Well, we would alternate the tops because it was a 2-piece.
That's not Blue Mystic? Because it was one where it was kind of like, okay, it covered all of this, no sleeves, and then the other one with one sleeve with the strap, it had the fringe, and it had the holes on it. Y'all wore it, and...
like Jeannie.
Y'all wore that too. I know y'all wore Nikila's
We
year
wore
for
the
the
Southern.
parade. Southern.
You about to go make me get my book.
Let me pull it up for you.
Cause
I never
have
knew the name of the top, but I knew the bottoms were from Blue Mystic. But I think
that was almost like a high-waist brief,
it's this one. Okay.
and we interchanged them.
It's this top right here.
Did I even wear that?
Yeah, you wore it because when you started getting thicker, I saw it. It's what. Look, let me show you the picture. It's when I was like, "Oh, Jenear cut that uniform out real good."
Oh, I was so happy to gain weight. You just don't know how. Oh, I got on by being so small. My boots didn't even fit, and it wasn't a requirement. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so Blue Sapphire's top, we were interchanged with the bottom. It had two tops to it.
Got you. So it just had two tops. So it's still the same name.
Yeah.
Okay, just a different top. Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, that's was like when I saw that one, because I know the crab year you was, real little, and then as your years went, I was like, okay, she getting there.
Right. It wasn't even a requirement for us to get our boots fixed. Like now today, your boots got to fit your legs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I promise I can fit my whole hand in my boots. I was so small. Oh.
Did Miss Worthy, because I know Saki said Miss Worthy told her, okay, you need to gain weight.
She didn't know, because in all honesty, my year was a small year. Because Nikila was tall, but she was slim.
Mm-hmm.
So it was me, Tanisha, Danica, Crystal, Munsenica, and Candace. Those were all my sisters. There was only 6 of us that was chosen that year. We were all small, and pretty much everybody else was kind of slim, except for the hammers in the back. So it was okay. She never told me to gain anything. But when I started to thicken up, you got too much weight on you, and I love all of it. When I tell you during the summertime what I did, freshman year, I came home, I was eating cornbread, pinto beans, and collard greens, and laying down. You know how you eat food? You eat food and you lay down on it. Yeah, that's what I was doing, and I came back thick. I came back at 125, and everybody thought like, "Oh, what you doing? What you been doing?"
Look, I knew it was gonna be that.
Right. I was like, no. I ate and I laid down, but as soon as band camp hit, Lord, I lost that weight all the way.
Quick.
And I much for my first game. I was like, I'm back skinny the way I was. So, yeah. It didn't start to stick until my junior year.
Okay. So what upperclassmen would you say you admired the most your crab year?
Ooh, my crab year? Okay. If I had to pick one, it would be Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy really helped us a lot. She talked about us, but she helped us. Shaughnessy was the one who would be in McAllister's with us, practicing and helping us through some of the stand routines, because we would learn, oh my God, we would learn at least 15, 20 stand routines a day. And it was almost like, y'all, we not gonna make it, because it's a lot to remember. So sometimes after practice, we would go over to McAllister's and we would practice, and Shaughnessy would be there helping us and letting us know, like, that ain't right. It's this kind of, And it kind of hurt our feelings, when she left the team in 2002, because that was one of the persons who really helped us. I understand why she left, but yeah, it would be Shaughnessy. I really did look up to her because she did help us. Everybody else, yeah, they did talk about us, but eventually the help came. But I did look up to Shaughnessy.
Okay. All right. Who would you say gave you the most tough love your crab year?
Monica. Coy. Oh my God. Coy gave me tough love because next to Coy.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be in my ear. You better get it right. You said right. I don't know what you're doing over there. You know, it just be, you know, she gave me some tough love because, you know, she wanted me to look right because everybody wanted everybody to look good. You know, when nobody trying to like totally down somebody to the one you need to sit out this game. No, I didn't get that feeling, but yeah, Coy, because I danced next to her, she wanted me to get it right. Doobie was tough too. She didn't put no sugar on it. No, when nobody used sugar at all. But yeah, she was tough. Yeah, she was real tough.
I would say, because you mentioned that Coy was the hardest on you, but I always had that mentality in my head, like, if Zanette was dancing next to Shannon, or if she was dancing next to Diamond and Dominique, I would imagine she was the one that was like in control of her role and like, okay, get it right, this, that, and third. So I can actually see that, and I find it to be, I think it's helpful, because if you got like a row captain, somebody that's watching everybody and making sure they're doing it right, then of course everybody's gonna look good as a unit.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing that was deemed a row captain or anything. It was like, if an old head looked down, like, that was what it looked like. Oh, that wasn't right, you know. But see, the thing is, it passes down. Because I ain't gonna lie, I sure got in jail.
Look, I'm gonna ask you which. I'm gonna get to it. Okay. What would you say was the silliest J set your crab year?
Ooh, my crab year? Mm-hmm. Oh, it was me. I ain't gonna lie. It was me. Yeah, it was me.
You're from Georgia, so I'm from Georgia, so
yeah,
we pretty silly. All right, so your crab year, what was the hardest field routine that you had to do?
Swoop.
Saki said this. I knew it was coming. When Saki said swoop, I was like, okay, probably gonna be everybody's gonna be swoop. That did swoop.
Yes. Swoop, because I did Let It Whip. Let It Whip was okay. What else? Justin No. Jam was good. Jam was pretty easy, fairly easy. Because though it was Jam was during the summertime. And that was fairly easy. But Swoop, yeah, that was it was so many twists and turns and movements to Swoop, and certain moves you just didn't have the breath for. But you had to get through it. So yeah, Swoop was something serious.
Yeah, that 99 line, we really went to work on that one. That's a number that, you know, and Swoop has only been, from 99 to current, it's only 2 routines for that song. And I remember hearing Shankita say, you know, Miss Worthy was like, nobody touching Swoop, because it had just been done so well that time. So right. I can only imagine how hard it would be, especially if she's in there like wrong, how hard it would be to actually perform that routine.
Yes, and then, you know, traveling in between the steps. Yes. That's even worse. And of course, you know, when you're a freshman, they make you travel the furthest. So and then if you don't get there, oh, you need to get there. Oh, it's so long. Oh my God, it's like I'm on the 45 trying to get to the other 45. You know, so yeah, they made us travel all across the field.
I was gonna say, I think it was Kim. She traveled. I think they were Tiger Girl when they didn't have the shoes on with it. She had to travel from, I think it was the 50 all the way over to the other. I'm like, and she's little, so for you little girls, like, y'all are small, like, y'all legs aren't that long to be traveling that far.
You know, you got to dance like you a big girl. You dance like you a hammer.
So what would you say was your favorite field? Your crab year.
My favorite.
Your favorite field.
To dance on? Or...
No, I'm sorry. The favorite field routine from your crab year.
Oh. I like jam. But I really like no parking that we did at Classic. And now I also did, because they had the little Tina Turner thing. My freshman year, I was one of the Tina Turner girls, along with Christy, and who else was that?
Was that the Battle of the Band performance?
It was a Battle of the Bands performance. It was we did it a couple of times because
I think y'all wore.
Doc fell in love with that. I would make cuts for other routines, but would have to do the Tina Turner thing, and I'm like, come on. Also, Order My Steps, the ballet that we did with the white dresses. I was one of those girls. I actually made cuts for Let It Whip, but I had to do. We called it Pootie Tang. I had to do Order My Steps. So it was like, hey, look, can you get? I want to dance like the regular dance because Doc said that the crowd really loved Order My Steps and the show, and so he was like, we're gonna bring that one back, and it's like, no, I want to do that. I made cuts for this, you know. And Ms. Worthy was like, you made cuts for Whip, but Doc wants Order My Steps again. So I'm like, ugh.
So once you don't make cuts, there's no making it.
Oh no. Oh. You're carrying the black bag.
Oh.
And I never carried the black bag. It was my duty not to carry that thing. Everybody and their mama knew what that black bag was and why you was carrying it. I said, not I. You're not gonna be giving me paper towels and candy, pass me my juice. I'm not gonna do that. So I took a vow never to carry.
Never to carry that black bag. So who would you say gave you the most support as a J-Set?
My sisters, especially Tanisha. Because she was actually on campus already. I want to say she was a junior when she auditioned. So, as far as, letting me know the ropes, who is who, where things were in Jackson, stuff like that, she really helped me and helped me get through some tough times when I was being picked on, stuff like that. And I'm like, I wonder why they gave me such a hard time. What did I do? Because they really, really got into me. I think they thought that since I was from Atlanta and I was in a movie, that I thought that I was in the clouds, but I wasn't. I was extremely humble because I already knew you go there as a blank slate. But they saw me in a couple of magazines and stuff. They would bring the magazines and be like, who is this in this magazine? And yeah, it's just, they gave me a hard time for it. And I'm like, dang, I thought that was an accomplishment, Y'all using it as like a, but, of course it was done purposefully to mess with you. But it was something that they were, proud of, but no, they let, but yeah, Tanisha was, someone who I depended on for support.
Okay. So what was practice like during, so let's say, we're in football season. How was a week of practice?
Okay, practice started at 5:30. If you were not there at 5:30, you got a lap for every minute that you were late. And of course, if you're 4 minutes late, that's a mile around the track. So we were there. Sometimes we would beat Miss Worthy and Nikila there. We're like, where your laps at, boo? So sometimes it was 5:30 until, and I even remember if it was like Southern Week and we had to go out on the field, I didn't leave the field one time till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Woo.
So at night, I saw 12. I saw 1. I saw 11:30. 10 o'clock was early. You didn't? No, you were still dancing at 10.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Monday, Thursday was cuts. Thursday was always a cut day, and Friday you would go and get your uniforms from the uniform closet. But sometimes if you got out there on the practice field and Miss Word is like, you need to fix this. She has cut somebody on a Friday, from the field, from the practice field with the band,
Mm-hmm.
because what we did was we made sure that we had hours together, so that when we got out on the field with the band, that they didn't have to, continuously run through our music and stuff because we were messing up.
Mm-hmm.
Because the band will let us know too. Like, what's wrong with them? Why they not dancing? You'll hear that like just from everywhere. It's like, come on now. And then Doc will let you know too. That don't look right. I don't know what's wrong with them. Just letting them know, like, no, something ain't right. We get this together. But we had our stuff together. We didn't have that many comments like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, practice was late, and so yeah, like I said, yeah, sometimes Friday, depending on what game it was, we'd get out really, really late because we have to go on the field with the band. And yeah, from 5:30 until sometimes.
That was basically a full-time job.
It was, and that's why we could not work. That was one of the rules, that we could not have a job. And we could not be engaged or married, and we could not have any children.
Wow.
Yeah, those were rules.
Because, those are, I guess, time-consuming relationships. So, I can see why they would say that.
Mm-hmm.
So, since we're still in your crab year, this is going to be the last question, I think, while we're in the crab year. What happened to Cutaway?
What happened to Cutaway? And that's with the holes going down the arms.
It's some right here.
Yeah.
Got the fringe that looks like snow a little bit. To me,
yeah,
like
we
snow.
wore it. I wore it a couple times. But at the same time, it wasn't that many of them.
Yeah, I heard some of them got stolen.
Oh, no. I know what you're getting at. You're talking about teardrop.
Teardrop.
That's what you're talking about. Whew. To this day, I don't know where that uniform is. So let me tell you. That was my first game. And, we get on the bus, we change our clothes, get back into our windsuits, and I'm getting off the bus. I'm taking everything with me. And I get to my room the next day, Sunday, and I'm washing my clothes and stuff. And my uniform is not in my bag. So I'm like, what's going on here? Because usually, like, what we do is we have to have like a Walmart bag or something. I don't know if they have something different now, to put your field uniform stuff in your bag, tie it up, and throw it in the black bag.
Mm-hmm.
And we would put, once we get off the field and we go back and change, we would put all that stuff back in that bag and put it back into the black bag. And then once we get to the bus, then we would kind of disperse the bags so that, we could wash our own uniforms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my uniform was not there. I asked, I said, hey, did you guys check the buses? Did y'all clean the buses? For some reason, my uniform is not in my bag. Old head was like, no, I ain't got no uniform. So, long story short, someone said that they saw a young gentleman in my uniform.
Why was I thinking, okay, one of the guys must have got the uniform.
A young gentleman in my uniform on the 5th floor of Dixon Hall.
Oh, Lord.
Walking in it. I had to pay money to replace that uniform because not only was my uniform missing, my chocolate raspberry and my Mary Kay was too. So, yeah. I had to get new makeup. and I had to pay for a uniform.
How much was the uniform?
I think I paid Miss Worthy $80 because when you order a single uniform, it's expensive.
Right.
So yeah, I had to pay for that uniform, but someone said that they saw
I knew it. I knew it.
Uniform being modeled.
I was gonna say it gotta be one of the gays who got it. I figured it had to be. I'm like, was there one of them that was in the band that just swiped it? You know, but I figured that's what it was.
I think so too. When we got off the bus to eat, that's the only thing, because I wasn't separated from my things. And unless we got off the bus to go eat and then get back on the bus to go back, home. So that was the only time I was separated from my stuff. So that's probably when I got.
All right, so you had the luxury of dancing under 3 different captains. So you had your captain, Akila, Nadia, and Jasmine for 05. And they all had their own pizzazz that they brought to the J6. So what element would you say that you took from each of those captains pertaining to dance?
Nikila was more of a, she ordered her stand routines, and when I say that, it's not to say we knew what was coming next, but she had a specific order that she would do things, so that I think so she could remember. So I understood that so that she can continuously, eat the music. Because one thing I can't stand is to stand still for a whole 8 count while the song is jamming. It's like, you wasted my music. It's time to sweat.
Right.
So I like the fact that she did order hers, or she knew what order was. If she wrote it down herself, I don't know. But she had a specific order with hers. With Nadia, I love the fact how Nadia was like an inclusive captain. She had her own opinions, and she led us, but she allowed us to have some input in certain things, or say, what do y'all think? That was, what y'all think about, she included us within some of her thoughts of what she, wanted to do, or how she felt about certain things. She wasn't a I'm end all be all type. And I loved her soft book. She looked very angelic, but she could throw it, So I love how she looked very. I'm Nadia. But now with Jasmine, I loved Jasmine's attitude and spunk. She had that Memphis about her. And I loved how Jasmine, she was inclusive as well. And she allowed us to, have inputs on certain things as well too. But she did stand her ground, and she did, when somebody got wrong, she was able to say, no, that ain't right, or you need to, she stood her ground, because she's little.
So she's smaller than you.
Yeah, but she wasn't little, So yeah, I like my little Memphis.
And that's the thing with the Memphis girls. You can always, like, Brittany Jones, Tiara, you can kind of tell that they are Memphis girls because of the way they, I guess you could say the way they book. It's the way that they dance. You're like, oh, she's from Memphis.
Yep.
So, in Capital City Classic 2004, 5th quarter, you and you and Jasmine got the opportunity to lead. And I just want to know, what was that like? Because you're at an actual game leading.
Right.
It's not like in practice or anything. So how was it to actually lead at a game?
It was nerve-wracking and on the spot. And sometimes your mind can go blank when you get up there.
I don't think yours went blank because when you got up there, I was like, she throwing them back. And I was like, I got in my head like, what could have happened in 2005 had she been up there?
Yeah, it was, and you could hear, the crowd saying like, oh, you know, like, oh, she being called up there, you know, like they were gassed up, so, you know, you couldn't let, you know, them people know that you're nervous, and you can let them down because they're expecting you to do something. So, yeah, but you can go blank up there, and I think I let one 8 count go past, because I was trying to think, and I hope I didn't have that. I probably had that look of thinking. But then I was like, okay, it's over, you know. But yeah, it was a good experience.
Okay. Because like I said, I saw it. Because I mean, of course, I wasn't watching the Chasers at that time, but going back and doing my research, I saw that clip. I was like, she throwing them like the back. So I kind of got in my head. But I'm gonna ask that. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna pause right there.
Okay. I think I know where you're going, but okay.
Yeah. So when the time came for the 2005 captain to be announced, and you weren't announced, was it something that you expected, or was it like, you know, something to where you were like feeling disappointment?
No, I wasn't disappointed at all, and I have slight regrets today. And the reason is because, like, I had a conversation with Nadia about, you know, the next selection of captain. And when I told Nadia, I said, you know, I kind of just want to dance. I don't want to be boggled down with having to, you know, lead a team or do uniforms or be, you know, because it was my senior year. And I said, you know, if Jasmine is to, you know, be chosen, I'll help her out with whatever it is that she needs. It's not that I couldn't run a team, because I know I could. But at the time, I wanted my senior year. If I had an evening class, I would be able to go to my evening class, or, you know, just a slight freedom. But now that I think about it, if that conversation kind of shut it down, I know I could have done a hell of a job. I know, because I could have done a lot, and not to say, you know, Jasmine didn't.
Right.
But I just know me and how my mind works with choreo, and how, like, I always had stuff rapid fire, you know. I helped Jasmine with some choreo while I was on the team. You know, she's my captain. You know, I created some stand routines for the team, you know, while I was there. So leading choreo, none of it would have been a problem, but I think I was selfish in wanting to have my senior year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I was going to ask, what do you think would have caused you to kind of be overlooked for the captain position? And
because I wasn't going to be a 2-year captain. I think Miss Worthy was seriously looking for a 2-year captain because Nadia was a 1-year captain. So 2 1-year captains back to back, you know. Not that it would have been a problem, but the next captain would have been another 1 year, and I don't know when it could have gotten back on track. But yeah, she wanted a 2-year captain, and that was the usual. So yeah.
Now I think about it, because it went from, let's see, well, when it started just being one captain in front, Afrashana did 2. Quita did 2, Nikila did 2, and yeah, then that would be that 1 year that they had Nadia. Okay. So she was, you know, she just wanted to have that 2-year captain. Gotcha. All right, so had you been named captain in 2005, what could we have expected to see from your squad?
I created a lot of labels of love.
I was going to get into that too.
Saki came and was like, Jenear, my mind is spent. I was like, okay, cool, you know. And I had just had my daughter. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, whatever you need. It probably would have been a lot of labels of love times 10. Because just when I go to sleep, that's where my choreo comes from. My dreams are my creative moments. And it's not that I purposefully lay down and say, all right, tonight's field show will be. it's not like that. But it's like, you know how sometimes you dream but you don't mean to? It turns into that. And for some reason, I can get up and remember the steps in my dream. And I can do it. So my creativity level is would have been like, I think I've always said that J-Sets back in my time were probably 10 years ahead of the game. We probably would have been doing some of today's stuff back then.
Because I can see like some of the stuff that Tiara did, from stunts to actual dancing. She had some stuff that I feel like, I can see, you know, Jenear doing something like this. It's certain people who I can say, oh, they probably would have been like 10 years ahead of the game had they been, you know, up front captain, or they had, you know, creative control of what was put on the field. So I can even see you doing some of that stuff that they did like in 2014 because it just screams Jenear. Even when I had the interview with Saki, she was mentioning, well, if you look at Labels of Love, you can look and tell that Jenear made that up from the head swings. I was like, yep. And you can tell. And I think she said y'all made that up like a night before. Man Eater.
And Man Eater. I came back from Man Eater, and I was pregnant with my son. I came in there with a belly. And Saki was like, okay, now do it. I was like, Saki, I can't do it full out, you know, like, I got a belly. You know, she's like, oh, okay, wait, okay. So, yeah, I would have to break it down to her because I came in there with a belly. So I came back from Man Eater too. So, yeah.
You came back for some of the great routines, especially that Labels of Love routine, that because they did that Chloe's year, and everybody would talk about that particular routine as far as...
Oh, really?
Yes. It's only... when it comes to talking about field routines that will wipe any routine clear, it's going to be Toxic from 04, Lose My Breath, Swoop, both of the Swoop routines, Jam, Labels of Love from Chloe's year, Tiara's Insane routine. It's only a select few routines that, you know, will always just stick as like, okay, go to this if you want to see, excuse me for saying this, but real Jay said it, go to this routine. That's one of the routines that people are going to say go to.
My God, wow, that's
Yeah, we tried so hard to, and you know, I'm only 23, but looking at those field routines from back then, I'm like, yeah, it's definitely something that was in the water back then that just had them doing all of this crazy stuff, but the people went up for it, and they still do. So, of your 4 years on the team, what field show was your favorite?
I enjoyed Nadia's Kanye's workout plan.
Saki said that too.
Yes, and that dance was so intricate. Was it Lose My Breath? Did we do it to Lose My Breath?
Yep, she said that was the trial routine, and y'all had did it to that routine.
Oh, and trust me, if I always tried out in April because Kanye's workout plan was in July, I wouldn't have made it because I never learned the routines in July. Sorry. But because I was already on the team, I was old head, I wasn't trying out. I was like, you know what, I learned this later. I learned it. But when it came time for a group dance, I'm going to the back. I'm always going to the back because I'm going to tear this up. I might be the one standing up when everybody else is on the floor. So I was like, I never really learned it to be able to do it. So, yeah, I never learned the July routines.
I feel like, because that, like I said, that's one of the routines that people always go to and say, look at this one. But Saki said that was her favorite routine.
Yes,
and that's one she tried out too.
Oh.
Which captain would you say was the toughest?
Nikila. And I guess I say that because I was a freshman coming in, and that's the first thing that I had. So the rest of them were, you know, I'm upperclassmen now, so you're not really talking to me. You're talking to me, but you're not really talking to me, you know. So and I gave respect to all. Never overstepped my boundaries because I wouldn't want anyone to do that to me. But yeah, Nikila was my toughest.
Okay. What was your favorite moment as a J-Set?
Oh, when we went to Hollywood. Oh, when we danced at for the NAACP Image Awards. Yes, and we got an opportunity to go backstage because the J-Sets actually had to go out there a second time for the tribute. I think it was a tribute to Spike Lee. And the song "Doing the Butt" came on, and we had to do a routine to that. And I think that was a last minute thing because when the band went to the studio, the big auditorium to practice, the J-Sets had to stay behind. And because they told us, they was like, well, you're going to be in this scene doing this, because I guess they saw us practicing. So we had to stay behind and actually create that routine as they kept playing the music. So that was something that, and every time we did something, it was like, yeah, like give us more. So we stood out there the whole time for them to perform that part. And oh wow, that was like one of the best times that they flew us out there. The food was good. We got stipends. We went out. That was my first time being in Hollywood, seeing the Hollywood signs, and yeah, and then being around all those celebrities in the back, you know, taking pictures and talking to them. I talked to Erykah Badu for a long time. Oh, Miss Worthy lost her mind when she saw Denzel Washington. I told her, she was like, all right, y'all, I want y'all to make sure y'all just maintaining yourselves back here because I know we're around all these celebrities and I don't want y'all to get all, you know, just starstruck and everything. So right when she said that, she was like, oh, Denzel. And we were looking at her like, what? But you just told
right.
us. It's almost like she pushed us out the way. And she gave him a hug and she was like, take my picture. She just forgot everything that she just said, was just like, oh, Denzel. Like, okay, sure. You know, so yeah, that was one of the best moments. It was.
That was what, 2003, right?
Yes, that was spring 2003 because I wasn't no crab no more. But we did have to audition for that because there weren't that many of us that went.
Right.
Because they were buying the plane tickets per person, and I want to say my plane ticket. I think I still have it. It was like $630 per person.
Ooh. And
they flew a good amount of the band out, and I think it was maybe 10 of us, 9 or 10 of us that went.
Wow, $600 for a plane ticket. Who did y'all fly with?
Who did we? Was it Delta?
I knew it had to be because they are the most expensive.
Because we had a layover in New Mexico. and then we went to California from there. So yeah, it was they flew, and the band, we were on the whole plane was us, and we had 2 planes. Yeah, we had enough band members to fill up 2 planes. So yeah,
that's a lot of seats to be taken. So other than the Denzel moment, what was the funniest thing Miss Worthy has ever done or ever said?
The funniest?
It's not often.
You see, I'm trying to think. She cracked jokes here and there and would laugh, but she went mean, but I can't recall no funny crack jokes from Miss Worthy.
Oh, so she didn't play that. She was like,
oh yeah, but we used to kind of like pipe her up sometimes for her to dance or whatever, and we'll say little stuff to her like, oh, Miss Worthy got on them tights or something, like, we could do that, and she'd be like, oh, y'all shut up, stuff like that. But as far as like Miss Worthy like really cracking a joke or something, I didn't catch that. She was like mama, like
right.
Like,
All right. So what are some stands that you've created while on the team and after? I mean, you're famous when everybody already knows that one. Everybody knows that one, but what other ones did you create?
I did the one that goes a 1 and 2, 3 and 4.
I can see you. I can see.
I did the sway up, around, hit down. The one you put your boot up on the
2009, I want to say, Shankita.
A lot of the stand routines came out in Shankita's era because she allowed me to come and I say, hey, look, I got a couple of stands. If she's like, yeah, girl, come on. She was extremely inviting, and I love that about her because I didn't have nobody else to give it to. I'm at home making up stuff. Like nobody can use it.
Right.
So there is a video of me, and I was pregnant at the time. I'm doing stand routines, and it's so weird. Like it was one that went like something 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I made that up. Now I remember it was a T-Pain song that the band played. Everybody hands go up.
Oh, the routine.
Yes. That routine that they did and they stay there. I made I had sent Shankita like a video of me doing like a whole routine for that section. So I think she took bits and pieces of that and turned them into stand routines. Right. So I seen some things, I was like, dang, they look familiar, and I think I did, but now one thing I don't do, I don't claim nothing that ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? I don't perpetrate. So if it's mine, I'm like, nah, yeah, I did that. But if it ain't, I might be like, I don't know, it looked familiar, like I did. I feel like I did, but I don't know. So, but I want to say that little excerpt that I gave, she may have broken some of it down into stand. Because it's one that go like this,
Oh yeah, the turnaround count.
Yeah, I want to say that was in that little combination that I gave. So
I know she did. That was the same year, 2010 was the same year that she brought that as just a stand. Because they do it now more often, but yeah, that was the same year. So it's possible that was because I haven't seen the All I Do Is Win routine in a good minute, but I knew it was a routine for it. She said she got tired of them cutting off in the middle of nowhere.
Right. The one, now they've done some that I created when I was actually on the team, but they kind of vamped them a little bit. It was one at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and the arm goes down like this.
Oh, I call it. I'd say that's another star routine because it goes so good with the song. But yeah, Shankita did it '09, and I think she put it in the field show too.
Okay.
That one, it's in there, but Charlotte added the hand part.
Added the arm going down. And the one that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, around 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
They added the double shoulder to it, so it goes a 1, 2, shoulder down, and 5. Yeah, so they added the shoulders to it. So, and I love that, the fact that they can use an old stand routine and revamp it to keep the traditional routine, but
add a little twist to it.
Add a little something to it to upgrade it. Yeah, it's like upgrading the house. So yeah, but yeah,
it's the 14. That's not yours. Not the.
Oh, okay.
Because I seen you in the video. I'm not gonna even bring it up. I'm not gonna pull up the video, but I saw Kayla through the stand. I think it was 2018 homecoming, and you were at the bottom. I don't know if you had a few drinks, but you was down there just doing the stand. You was like.
Okay, so yes, I did make that up. But the way it's supposed to be done, I don't. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying, but. However the team turns it into have that integrity, But yeah, I did make that up, and I actually Morgan did that one. That was during Morgan's time because I sent those to Chloe over the phone, and it was actually 2 of them. I can't remember the second one, but yeah, it was like a figure 8. It was all figure 8s in the beginning. Down, up, then the hair.
Cause I saw it when I'm gonna find it and send it to you. But you were at the bottom. I can't remember. You had the shades on, the jeans, your jacket, and the minute she threw it, I seen you down throwing it. I said, "Look at Jenear." And I was at that game. I just said, I wasn't on that side of the year. I said across to look at them across. But when I saw a video, I was like, "Look at Jenear at the bottom, just throwing the stand."
But it feels so great to see that, and to see that was added to the book of memories, or to add it to the just every time I see it, it's like, oh, they still doing it, like. It feels so good to see it, and I'm not the type that, unless somebody asks me, I'm not the type that's like, yeah, I did that, if someone happens to ask, I say, yeah, I participated in that, but I'm not trying to
broadcast it that you made it.
It's for the babies. Let them shine with it. They know where it came from, and that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody is to ask me, I'm like, yeah, I did. Yeah. I would say, that particular captain allowed me to come in and, show something. I never wanted to be that old head that came in and say, I got something y'all need to do. Or, that just wasn't me. I always said, like, hey, I got something if y'all want it. If not, it's cool. But, if just, I got something for you. And if they say, yeah, come on. And I would come in and show, but I never wanted to be that old head that came in and made the captain feel like she needed something new. That I never wanted to be like that. I always ask permission. I don't care if you're 12. And if you're leading, I'm going to ask you for permission for your team. For permission. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the type of person I am.
Right. Yeah. And it's respect, so I can see why you would do it. I mean, you don't want to step on anybody's toes coming in anyway. All right, so other than Man Eater and Labels of Love, is there any other J-Set field shows that you choreographed or helped with?
Yes. I helped with Jasmine's is I don't know what the name of the music that they did it for on the field, but the tryout routine, it was a remade Prince version of When Doves Cry.
Okay. Yeah, that routine gets talked about too.
Yeah, I made up some portions of When Doves Cry.
Yeah, that one gets. It's more so the fans who became fans around that time. They always bring. They need to do Jasmine's When Doves Cry routine, and so now that we know that you had a hand in that. I think that's pretty nice.
Also, what is that? Don't Funk With My Heart.
They did that routine
My senior year.
Was that the A&M game?
A&M was Don't Ya.
Don't Ya. That was that one. But the band was in that same formation that y'all was in. That's why I'm thinking about that one.
Don't Funk With My Heart, we had on Chaos. That was all the bottoms were the same, but the top had 3 different tops. I think that's what it was called, Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the beginning, the pop-up, I put that pop-up in the beginning.
I have to link these in there so they can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't remember any other meaty part. It may have been something, but yeah, I assisted with that. Okay. So if Jasmine's era started that pop-up, but I think it was Shankita who did the pop-up off of her head. So, but the first karate pop-up came from Jasmine. Gotcha. Jasmine's era as captain.
And they always get compared as, because they both book. So those two, I find it ironic that, they both did. Jasmine's year had to pop up, but Shankita's year had to pop up off the head.
Yes, and I was like, this girl is crazy, but that...
I would look at some, I'm like, what?
Yes.
They actually did that?
And I commend Shan so much because she made up a routine every week.
Yeah, that music got changed so much.
And I was like, that's in the books. That is because that just lets you know how her mind works when it comes to hip, new, and fresh. Like I enjoyed seeing something different every week on the field, and I'm like, you had to be on something. But yeah, that's something about Shankita that I just commend her for during her reign was that every week a new routine. That was awesome. That was unheard of, and to this day I still ain't seen it. So that's legendary. That's history right there. The routine every week. Whew.
Hard, because if you making up a routine every week, and Saki was the first to say, Worthy was like, no, you did that already. It's kind of hard to make up something new every week without repeating something that you did last week. So what game would you say was the most anticipated during your years as a JCIT?
Capital City Classic 2002. I was waiting for that clock to strike. I was looking up at the clock the whole time. I think sometimes I even messed up in the stands looking at how much time I had left on that clock. Because it was like, oh, it's over. Like I made it. But my most, if I wanted to say truly, was Tennessee State when we got rained on. Oh, that routine, even though, we had done the routine, but the routine in water, that was a whole brand new routine. You can tell us that. Even though we were sick for about 2 weeks.
It's always something about dancing in the rain.
Yeah.
No matter whose team it is. well, some teams they don't dance in the rain. They don't do it, but I know the J6 they don't care about dancing in the rain. It's something that just say show out when you
Yes.
dance in the rain.
Go harder, dig in it more. It's like your hair swings, it's stuck to you, and it's I'm in the shower dancing. It makes you feel even more just sexy and over the top, and just
Right.
it make you almost want to put stuff in a routine that ain't even there. Like go on the floor, smack the ground, whip the head. You know, it's just like it just makes you want to do more. But
Right.
yeah, yes. I never forget that one.
So, we kind of, you mentioned it earlier, like, you know, the J6 was the team that you were going to try out for after you had saw them in Atlanta. But if not the J6, were you set on Bubba and Brown Sugar?
No.
What other team would you have tried out for?
I said that if I did not make J-Set, I would audition for Southern.
What?
Yep.
I'm glad you became a J-Set because you brought so much to that organization. Dog. Could you, I guess, conform to the doll style?
Yes, because okay, so it was a mixture of, because one of the instructors was a dancing doll from my high school, and the other instructor, she was hip hop. I don't think she danced at Morris Brown, but Morris Brown had an influence because my band director was from Morris Brown. So we had that Morris Brown influence, but we also had someone from Southern. So we had technical training at Redan. So I was actually a stronger technical dancer before I got to Jackson. And a lot of the stuff that I would do, they would always say, it's not like that. That looks like ballet. Or, you know, it's as far as me trying to match the form, it took me a while because I had to kind of get out of the structure of ballet. So all the going across the floors and all that, I'm thinking that's what we were going to do in Jackson. And we didn't do those. We didn't do bot moms across the floor or anything like that. And it's like, where's the across the floors? We don't get that down here. So I was stronger technically in high school, so I would have been okay conforming to the doll style, and it probably would have grew on me. But yeah, trust me. Like I said, I was not Jackson. I was a blank slate. So yeah, if I did not make that, I probably would have tried out for Southern.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you went to J6 because I mean at that time the dolls, like around that time, they don't do as much as they do now as far as stand wise.
Right.
They didn't throw stands like right when the song started. Sometimes they didn't do it through the song. So I'm glad you went to Jackson State because it's so much that you brought to that organization. So, and had you not went, we probably wouldn't see some of the stands that we see today. So, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently as a J-Set?
If I was in the running for captain, I should have taken it and not said anything. That's something that I would have done differently. But you know, I don't know. I'm just going off of the possibility.
Right.
I probably would have taken it and just, you know, kept my mouth shut. And I would have done it if there was a possibility. But I enjoyed all the good, the bad, and the ugly. I wouldn't change anything about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you are the coach for the Atlanta Dancing Dolls. So how did that come about?
Well, I actually worked with the Dolls in Jackson before, you know, everything came about. That was in 2008 because my daughter was in a car seat when I would go to dancing dog practice, and I would sit her up on the stage, and I would be coaching them and teaching them, because I was still interested in dance, and my sister-in-law was actually on the community dance program that Diana had, and she performed at the AAC. No, the Rose McCoy, when they had like a recital. And I briefly talked with Diana, there or whatever, and then one day we had a conversation about it. So that's how I came in 2008. And I want to say it was about 2010 when I stopped. But yeah, I became pregnant in 2010 as well, and I had my son in 2011. So then I moved back home. I moved to Atlanta in 2012. So when I heard that she was thinking about moving the studio or getting a studio here in Atlanta, I was like, oh, that'll be cool, And I was like, I'm wondering, is she gonna come back and forth to teach? I was like, wow, it's gonna be a lot or whatever. But and then I saw her, open the building, and I went up there, to congratulate her on the ribbon cutting, and just briefly talked with her there, and then I want to say we exchanged information because I judged some of the Booker Dies of the competitions that she had, and she asked me to be a judge, and so I went on a couple of those. I want to say I went to Oklahoma and Florida for the ones that she had. So after that, we had a discussion about working at the dollhouse, being a coach over the dolls. And so I was like, I got to talk with my husband about it. I talked with him. I was like, what you think? And he's like, I think you should go for it. So then it happened. And I want to say 2018, new team, over 200, well, what is it, 180? Really, I think it was over 200. With big dolls and baby dolls. And it was a huge job. All those girls like that. Now, of course, the numbers dropped, because only the strongest survived. So, but I still had at least 160, to work with big dolls at that. So it was an experience, because it's not that I went in there with a game plan of first we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, because it was a total blank slate. So I said, this has to be its own creation. It has to stand out. It has to stand on its own. It cannot ride the coattail of Jackson.
Right.
And I've always said to my girls to this day, don't ride the coattail, make your own coat. So, that was my whole, I guess that's what stuck with me, was that, they're going to be good, they're going to be dolls, they're going to be different. And I think I'm successful with that.
Definitely. I've seen the footage. Definitely.
But yeah, to be able to shape and mold and maneuver, and not only was I shaping them, they were shaping me, because I had to demonstrate. I had to show them. So that put me back into the realm of dancing and being able to do more as I got back into it. So they were a challenge for me as well as I was a challenge for them. So yeah.
Okay. So would you say that you run that team differently than how the J6 were ran when you were on the team? Or is there some similarities that you notice?
There are similarities as far as like hard work, because you're not gonna skate around here. We don't skate. We work for our name. You know, you're not. I'm not gonna take it easy on you either because you're 10 or you're 12. I'm building you for the world. This is not just for dance. You're going to go from here and beyond. And some of these things that I'm teaching you now, you're going to carry with you. Because some of you have the dream of being, you know, choreographers, coaches, or whatever. So you have to be able to instill some of that dedication, hard work, determination, all of that into them, you know, before they can go out and tell somebody else what to do. So yes, there are a lot of similarities. If one mess up, all mess up. Individuals mess up, they get their own things, but I use it as a group thing because there's nothing like your peer getting you in check.
Right.
You know, I can check you all day, but when I leave out the room, your peer gonna stand next to you and say, "Hey, you need to get it together because I'm tired of getting in trouble for you. You know, you need some help. You need to say something." You know, they check each other before I check them, because when I check them, it's a different check. Everybody. So they make sure that they hold their own before they bring it to me. And that's the level of accountability that they have. That's what I instilled into them. And always carry your own weight. Don't allow someone else who's dancing hard right here carry you.
Right.
You're going to get ate up first. You're going to get talked about. If you want that feeling, go ahead and have it. But I'm telling you, don't feel good. So, but yeah, I always tell them to carry their own weight. And when everyone carries their own weight, the load is light. It's never heavy. So yeah, it's been some hard work, some blood, sweat, and tears. I tell you that.
So has there been any of your girls to go and try out for the J6 or any other collegiate dance team?
Yes, but in all honesty, now my seniors are coming up. Because they were young when I got them. They were like 13, 14. Some were 16, leaving out, but now a lot of my more seasoned seniors are up for graduation this year. So some of them have thoughts of auditioning for other teams. I hear Alcorn. I do hear Jay said. I hear Stingettes. I've heard Alabama State. I mean,
the Divas.
The Divas, yes. I've heard of the Divas as well. And I've also heard of PV.
I would love to see, you know, some girls from Dance and Dolls to go to TV. I think that'll be, because we, you know, I mean, there's some girls who were under Diana who went to Grambling, Jackson State, Alcorn, Stingettes. So Dance and Dolls too. I forgot about Cam, but now if she can, I just like to see them be able to go disperse, not just one team, but have
and that's
them go
what
out.
I say. Yes, you do have a J-Set influence because your instructor is J-Set. But at the same time, I'm coaching them for them to be able to go anywhere they want to go. Because with Niall there, he has a strong technical background and resume, and he's awesome. And he helps them a lot with their technique. So if they go to a technical team, they can handle it. So I can say that our girls are well-rounded dancers. They can kind of tap on a little of everything. And I wanted it to be like that because I just didn't want them to be, you know, J-Set and J-Set only. Because, no, there's plenty of other genres to do. And who knows, you know, every year I say that collegiate teams have their moments, and every year or every other year is somebody's year.
Right.
If we stuck to one style, and say for instance that J-Set wasn't it that year, they would be bored. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that they can actually look at the different hue of the teams that are out there, the HBCU teams, and have options and pick. You know, so, yeah.
Okay. So you have your own little twin on the team as well, little Jenear. She got the dreads and all like you. Would you say? I know that you just mentioned, making sure they're well-rounded, but would you say that you are getting her ready to be a J-Set? Because honestly, I want her to be a J-Set, and I know that's wrong of me to just say, oh, I want you to be a J-Set. But would you say you're getting her ready to be a J-Set?
I would say no.
Okay.
The reason why I would say no is because, hold on, let me make my battery. Okay. Reason why I would say no is because, like, I want her to have options as well. I don't want her to just think because my mama was a J-Set, I gotta be a J-Set. I want her to make her own decision with that. I'll be, of course, elated, oh my God, if she was J-Set, because homecoming come, I can march right next to you. You know, mama gonna show you out. But wherever she wants to go, that is progressive and a challenge, I would love for her to go. Just like with her hair, she had that option. She wanted her hair locked, and of course, I ignored her for the first couple of times that she asked, because I was like, "Baby, these aren't braids," and she's like, "I know," and so she made the option of locking her hair. So I want her to have that option. I don't want her to think, well, my mama said I got her. No. Wherever you want to go, baby, mama gonna support you. And if you don't want to do it, mama gonna support you with that, But of course it'd be awesome if she was J-Set. But she doesn't necessarily have to be one. But of course I'm gonna roast.
Because I've seen the stunts and stuff that she has done. I'm like, already? Like,
oh yeah,
she's
she waved.
Already, like, so I'm fingers crossed. I want her to go so bad to Jackson State and make the J-Set. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed on it. All right. So with you as captain, name 13 girls for an all-star squad. You can name any 13.
Ooh, okay. Aquita, Koi, Tanisha, Jasmine, Tara.
That leg would go up with ease.
Zanet, Shankita, both the twins, Dom, Sierra. Okay, 2 more. Ooh. Kayla and Afrashana.
So you're trying to kill.
Yes.
You got Dom and Zanet. I just know those two gonna feed off of each other. Tierra is gonna bring some Memphis to it. Shankita's gonna try to do the impossible.
Wait, did I miss Jasmine?
No, you said Jasmine.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, okay.
You got Jasmine and Tierra to add some Memphis in there.
That's in there on that end, and That short haircut.
Oh, you took the words.
Oh
Look.
my
Okay,
God.
so it was
Body that.
it was a girl on the Dolls in 2012. Her name was Josie. She had the short haircut too. They call her the bald head doll, but I don't know why they call her that. But her, Jeanette, and Olivia, who was a Gigi captain in 2016, those are the short haircut girls that will just completely murder it.
Yes, I was like, and she on that end,
Yes.
who she had that when she would buck, her back would be in that C.
And was clean with it too.
Oh, and clean with little chocolate drop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Jeanette.
she gave me a lot on that end,
Mm-hmm.
and I that she carried that end well.
Whether it was on the end of Short and Sassy or if she was at the beginning of Magnificent Middle, she was gonna tear it up.
Right, and I alternated between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
So you, Jeanette, Dom, Kayla, all of y'all had that same spot where y'all just go back and forth.
Right.
All right, so yeah, you got a good line of 14. All right. If the opportunity ever presented itself, would you mind becoming the coordinator of the J6? Wait, let me add some things in this. If the pay was up to par, and you just so happen to move to Jackson and the opportunity presented itself, would you take it?
What is considered up to par pay?
Because I've heard the pay isn't that well, but if it was, you know, if it was a pleasurable pay, would you take it?
I just can't. Moving back to Jackson. No. And it wouldn't be because, having to live in Jackson, because of course I live in Madison somewhere or whatever, but that is a job. It takes away from your family. It takes away a lot. And yeah, if I was single with no family, yes, I probably would.
Okay.
But that would be hard. It really would. It really would. Would I do 1 year? Sure.
Please. I mean, not saying anything about now, but I want to see what it would be like if you could, like, we didn't get the captain here from Jenear. What if we get a year of Jenear as coordinator? How would that look?
That it would be a lot of convincing. It really would. But at the same time, I'm willing to go back for summers if there's a summer week or 2 weeks that's needed or whatever. I could do that.
Gotcha.
But that is a job, and I commend Chloe. I commend Miss Worthy, for all the time that they're giving up to do that. Even though it is the best accomplishment ever to be a part of that legacy. But they are sacrificing a lot, and I commend them wholeheartedly for that. And that's why I always said, if Chloe ever needed anything, I'm here for her. I'll be there in a, she can call me up and say, hey boo, I need you. I'm there to put my bags. That's how it would be. So yeah, I commend her for it.
Okay. All right. So the last big question is, can we expect to see you for the 50th? Dancing, because I see you at homecoming, but I don't see you dancing. So can we expect to see you dance for the 50th?
It's hard for me to answer that. It's hard for me to answer that. Dancing somewhere else, probably. I'm really not sure.
For the 50th?
I'm not sure. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All of the people that I'm trying to get to come back and dance, they're just breaking my heart. It's you, Saki. Shankita better not say no. Jasmine better not say no. I would love to just see,
And I'd love to do it.
the alum 6 just come in and just clear it out and walk off the field.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right. But I don't know.
Okay, we'll leave it at I don't know. We won't say no.
Okay.
All right, so we got a little speed round. So it's like 8 questions, but it's just real speed. Okay.
Okay.
All right, first question. Favorite fast song?
From the band?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Under Pressure.
Okay. Favorite 3 uniforms?
Tiger Girl. Cutaway. And Smurfette.
Smurfette. Okay. Stands or feel?
Feel.
Okay. Favorite medium song?
Big Ballin'.
Big Ballin'. Okay. Worst 3 uniforms?
Ooh. Exotica. Car Wash. And and Genie.
I like Genie. I
guess
didn't like Fashion
was,
Scent. Who came up with Fashion Scent?
Oh, we named Fashion Scent. Actually, it was named Freelines.
I hate that uniform so much. I just hate it.
It was simple. It was really simple.
Was it catalog or was it actually made for y'all?
Oh no, I think that was.
If I ever see that uniform and I have a lighter on me for whatever reason, it's just torch, I did it.
I would have said we named it Freeline because it looked like something you would wear to the club.
It was like the pants and.
And it had a little rhinestone, little buckley.
I just hated it. Hated that one. And I like Car Wash. As far as feel wise, I like Car Wash on the field.
Car Wash didn't look like that at the beginning. It really looked like the little skirt that be in the car wash.
Was it? Because it looked like it was cut on some sides.
Yes.
Okay, I said it looked like something Tina Turner would wear, but I said it looks like it's asymmetrical as far as the cuts.
Yes, we did. Oh God, we did uniform.
Okay. Hair down or ponytails?
Hair down.
Okay. Favorite slow song?
Secret Garden.
All right. And last one. In terms of stands, Nancy's or Jazz Boots?
Ooh. Yeah, I've danced in both in the stands, actually. I would say tradition, Nancy's, but Jazz Boots give you more leeway to do a lot more with your feet.
See, the thing I like, because I've never been in the stands dancing in Nancy's or Jazz Boots, but just to hear the clack on certain beats is definitely why I say, oh, can we please just get the Nancy's in the stand after halftime if they go with the uniform, because hearing a clack is just something like, I don't know, it just really gets you hyped.
I always sounded like one boot.
I got one last question because I want to know what happened to it. It's an account that Nikila used to always throw, and I think she was the first person that No, Jasmine was the first person I seen through it, but I saw that as far as I can go back and find it, this count, it's a variation way that they do it to where they go across and then they turn around and do it. They wag.
Oh.
They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we did do that. We did do that.
Did that come in that year? Like, because I can never go back.
I learned that one. It was taught. It wasn't like so and so came up with this, or I came up with this. Nikila didn't create new stand routines. I don't recall her creating new stand routines. Now Miss Worthy did. Miss Worthy created a stand routine for us.
Is it that?
It was
that turnaround count. Yeah.
Cool.
That turnaround one. So that came in what, your crab year? Okay. Yeah, because that count, we don't see it often. Chloe would throw it when she was captain. I think Kayla actually threw it this past season. Not this past season, but last year. She threw it. So yeah, I knew Miss Worthy made that count. I didn't know what year it came in, but it's very interesting. All right, so that's all. 49 questions that I had for you. And I think we've been on here for like 2 hours. And
I enjoyed those.
I told Saki that, she was like, we've been on the phone for 2 hours. I said, yeah. It can take a while. All right, but I want to say thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule to answer these questions. These are some things that fans want to know. We do hope to see you for the 50th, even though you said you'll think about it. But yeah, thank you so much for what you've contributed to the team, for actually being candid enough to come on here as well and give us the inside of your JSET time.
And thank you for allowing me to be a part of this and thinking of me or considering me as a legendary.
They'll be in the comments on YouTube, and I'll send you the link as soon as it's posted. Just read the comments, and you'll see them. They go up for you.
Those comments can be brutal sometimes, Lord. I stay away from
not these. When it's the legends like you, Saki, you'll see. It's totally different.
Okay.
All right, it was a pleasure. You enjoy the rest of your evening, and you stay safe and healthy.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.